Hello, this is Roald from SoftFuture.farm, and today we are doing something a little bit different here. We are going to change tires on the car. So this is a do-it-yourself video, because a lot of people out there, you don't know how to do this, or you feel a little bit insecure and you're a little bit scared of starting it because you feel you might do it wrong. We're gonna go over a little bit what can go wrong and how to do this. So basically, first thing we do, we lay out the tires next to where we want them, and we park the car on a flat surface. So now we have all of our tires laid out next to where we want them. There could be a difference on the direction on it, but these tires are the same on the both, and then it should be an arrow showing you the forwards direction of the tire. So we are ready to get started. So, okay, we are starting out with spraying the bolts with this could not be necessary, but we go over each wheel and do it anyway, because these bolts, they may actually get really stuck sometimes. And this, by doing this as the first thing we do, then this gets some minutes to kind of soak in and lubricate. And yeah, let's just do all of the bolts. Then it lubricates. If it's some rust in there that's making it stick, then this will help. And this needs a little bit time to work as well, so that's why we're doing it up front. And so now that part of the job is done. We can set that to the side. I can take it back into our toolbox. So next is to loosen the bolts, and you do that before you jack the car up. This is because now the car is, with its weight on the tire, is functioning as I should mention one more thing. Put the handbrake on before you start doing this. So now you're turning it counterclockwise, and you see this thing we're using is a telescope thing. You don't have to loosen them more than that. Okay. And it's also a good idea to do it in a cross. So, and that's the same when you're tightening. Wait, you go there, 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 there.
Okay, why is that?
It's because of the now you've released it there and you release it there, so it's kind of symmetrical. You're releasing it. If you're releasing it here, 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 and there, it might twist a bit, and the tension on the last one might be like it's a little bit stuck, and it makes it even harder.
Okay.
And the same when you're tightening them, you get an evening and much more even tightening. So yeah, this can be a hard part, and you see this telescope thing I'm using. I'm not using the regular cross things because they're much too weak. With this power tool, not maybe, can you call that a power tool? No. It's a very powerful tool, it's not a power tool. So now we have just loosened them slightly, and they're still in there. Sometimes the wheel can get stuck as well, and then you need to use like a sledgehammer or something on the back of it. But now it went really nice and smooth. In most cars there are a special point that you're supposed to lift it from, that you don't harm the rest of the car. But on this car, the hanger the hanger connector is the point, and we are on a slight slope here, and we tried to lift it and it didn't lift it high enough, plus it's the problem with the balance. It might flip back and forth, so it's a bit dangerous. So what we do then, I at least what I do. I'm not taking responsibility for what you guys do, but this is it is a way to get the job done. It is to find some point where you think you won't harm the car too much, and you find a little piece of wood like this, and you put it in between the metal and this jack. So here I have a point that is kind of safe. It's safe enough that I will use this point for now and at least try and see how it goes. When we're using this jack, you have this point here on the handle of the jack, and you have this screw right here. To tighten it, you screw it clockwise, and now you can start jacking it up. So you put the jack under the wooden piece that you found, and you just start lifting it. Let's see. I don't think this is a very good point. It's pressing on the gas tank.
Okay.
That's not very smart.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I have a little bit better position here now. Yeah, don't use the gas tank to lift the car with. It looks like we're gonna be good. Enough to lift the car. And if you don't have a power tool for these screws, then just use your that wheel opening thing that we used in the first part of the video. But I have a connector to this. I have a special device to use with my Hitachi drill, which makes this job a lot faster, because now I go like this. And of course you have to loosen these first with this other tool. That really makes this job a lot quicker. You find a match for the hole somewhat. Now you put the new tire on, you line it up with the holes, and you tighten these kind of hand tight. If you don't have this power tool, it's fine, you can do this without it, it just takes a lot longer. And now you leave it like that, hand tightened. You can go over it in the cross.
Because then we're going to finish tightening off with the
with a powerful one.
With the.
And when you do that, you press until it kind of. You don't use too much power. You can break the screws if you press it too hard. You do it till you feel that it's with your muscles. It's kind of stuck enough. And then when you've driven a bit, you should go over all of the bolts again and make sure they haven't loosened up. So yeah, now we're gonna do the same here with the other side, and then we'll be back and we will show you in the front. So to get the jack out again, you use this like last time, only now you turn it counterclockwise, and you see it releases the pressure and lowers the car. We have a wooden piece now that back. We've lowered the car, we're tightening each bolt in a cross formation. That means you start with this, then you go with that, then you go on that, and then you go on that. And then you do it again a little bit. And you don't want to put too much pressure on it. You want it so tight that your muscles aren't struggling. So you might break the bolts, and if you break these bolts, that's gonna cost you a lot of money. Okay. We're gonna do the same on the other side, and we'll be back with the front for you afterwards. Now we're back at the front here, and we're gonna do in a cross formation, just loosening the bolts a little bit. You can drag that thing out so it's like more telescoped, getting more pressure on it. See, if we didn't have this tool right now that is a telescope thing, we would be struggling, because this is just what it takes to get that extra power to actually loosening them. And you see, we just loosen them a little bit, because now our power tool will afterwards be able to do the rest of it. Yep, so that was in a... can you just test that it's enough to get it with this? Mm-hmm. Just with one, like, just slightly... Yep, we're good. Okay, and now we're going to...
Do the other side?
No, no, not in the front, because now we're doing one and one wheel. So, you see in the front here, on this car, to lift it is this. Right, I don't know if you can see it if I move the camera a little bit. Yeah, you see this, just tighten the jack as well. It's also a good thing to tighten the jack right after you use it, so it's ready to be used again. That's a habit. So you see, here we are on this this point, this jack point, and we are lifting very successfully and easily. Because we have bigger wheels, now we have to actually lift it quite a bit. Okay, let's try it now. We're going with a power tool. And like I said, you don't need a power tool for this. You can actually use your hands. It's just, once you have that power tool, it's a good time to use it.
Obviously here, you don't have to do, when the tyre's up in the air, you don't have to take the bolts off in that cross formation, do you?
No. Well, yeah, it could help. Like it should be a habit that you can use all the time. So we're taking the wheel off, and is it stuck? That's the first problem we run into then. You can use the power on it. Is it stuck? Okay, we got it. Sometimes it's a good idea to put something called copper pasta around here. That prevents it from rusting. I don't have any of it at hand right now.
Okay. If it gets rusty, it's more liable to get stuck together like that.
Yeah. And but what we're gonna do to prevent rust is to spray it. And you shouldn't get this on your brakes. But and I'm not saying this is a good idea, because it might get on your brakes and your brakes won't work as good, but doing it anyway, because it's a little bit rusty and it was a problem. So hopefully now it will be a little bit easier next time we're replacing them. But what you're using for that actually is called copper pasta, and you just put a little layer of copper pasta around there. And you can also put some copper pasta on your bolts. And also this spray, it's a good idea to spray a little bit in the holes or spray a little bit on the screws. I might do that right now, just to show you guys. Take the spray and
Still need it a little bit higher, so jack it
yeah,
out.
if you can, it was stuck for me. You just put a little bit on each screw and that will actually spread out when you screw it in. Like so. That helps next time you're gonna unscrew them. It's a bit of a struggle sometimes to get it to fit, but it costs a lot to give it to a workshop as well, and this is first time Yvan here has done this, so I'm trying to teach him this. So.
Line up the holes. Bit on it.
It is high enough.
Okay, maybe that's on.
Yep. Did you hit the holes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you did. Okay, so then you'd go in the cross formation. Sure there's no shit on the screws. The first one a little bit more. Okay, good. Okay, and again. There we go. Now we can take the jack and lower it.
Okay, yeah. So why can't you tighten it with the
Because it's up in the air.
telescope spanner while it's in the air?
Because it's gonna just turn the tire around.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting the screw on the jack, turning it counterclockwise to lower it, and now just tighten it again as soon as it's down. Just tighten that screw again right now. No, not that, on the jack, as a habit,
Okay.
because then it'll be ready to use again. Oh, that's the wrong way. Clockwise to tighten it. Counterclockwise to lower it.
Okay.
Okay, so that one is good. And now he's going to cross tight these without breaking it. That's tight. That's probably good enough. Because they're kind of tighten over time as well. You don't want to. You're not gonna use much muscles on this.
I'm not forcing at all.
Yeah. Okay. And now one more time, the whole cross one more time. Because once you're doing that, now you're tightening. Sometimes you'll notice when you do this cross thing one more time, some of them has become loose again of it because the other screws are pressing it in more. So, but 2 times is good. So now we're done with this wheel. We have one more wheel to go. Yvan is gonna take the jack to the other side, and we're gonna do it one more time. And hopefully by then you are very schooled in this. Bringing the tools to the other side, where we have our tire already out. He's looking for the point.
So it's this bar that comes down, is it?
Yeah. And the first thing to do is to loosen these screws while the car is down. So in a cross formation. 1, 2, 3, 4. We was really lucky today because sometimes these screws are so stuck, it's ridiculous. But since we went over them first with that spray, that oily thing,
WD-40.
yeah, it had time now to soak in. So even if it was even if it was stuck already, then it had a little bit of time to soften up, and sometimes that's enough so that that you'll avoid them being stuck when you're gonna do this. The next step is to find the point underneath the car and lift the car up.
Okay, so let me have a look. I think I've located the thing.
That's the correct place.
Yeah.
Like you see, it's this little Boeing. What do you call that? Bow?
I don't know.
A Boeing.
Boeing, yeah.
It's a Boeing. What is it? Boeing 7. It's an air. It's basically an airplane. It's a Boeing. Oh, that was a stupid joke. Okay, so you see, it hits it pretty good there. And now the car starts to lift. And Yvan is going to be able to change tires on his own car soon.
Not like hammer car.
Yeah, but who knows? Yeah. On Mona's car then. And it's the same, you know, if you get a flat tire, it's the same. It's the same job. It's a skill that could be really easy, really good to have, you know. And there are different jacks, there are different tools to open the screws. And the reason we're making this video is that, you know, we don't want you guys to kind of be too depending on other people and what's not. It's good to be able to kind of take your own power back and be able to do this kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with letting other people do the job for you, you know, but sometimes if you don't have too much money, and that's probably good enough. And now we're gonna loosen them with a power tool. And again, you wouldn't need to have a power tool. You could probably just do them with a finger right now, but it takes longer. We have the power tool and we're gonna use it. And like sometimes it's stuck like this. And because it's sometimes stuck like this, actually I brought 2 tools. A sledgehammer. And I was supposed to have one more sledgehammer, but sometimes the sledgehammer is actually what you need to get this loose. Sledgehammer and a piece of wood on the back. Oh, this is a pain in the butt. You see, I put it in a neutral position. Now I can turn the wheel. So I try to do it a little bit on each side. More even. Loosen it a little bit. Like we're cross-typing.